Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, got a cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
You know, all you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski,
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
and we'll continue our Oktoberfest party.
As we should, Brad, as we should.
Right. This time we're going north of the border.
Across the Cheddar Curtain?
Right. Not to, Canada,
No.
but Wisconsin.
Yeah, man. New Glarus, to be exact. This is Staghorn Octoberfest beer. You notice how they spell Oktoberfest? Not with a K, but they spell it just your regular Oktoberfest, like the month. No one else does that.
Which is weird for how many Germans are known to be in Wisconsin, right? Is the K not is it like an American thing?
I'm like, where the fuck is he going with this? I know New Glarus, the town, is kind of like a little Switzerland.
Right. Not German.
Not German. But yeah, going back to your question, I don't know about the German influence in Wisconsin. At all. Like what towns might be German influenced, but the bratwurst is that even German? Just because it's a sausage don't make it German.
Yeah, possibly.
See, I don't know.
But you had all the brewers. I guess a lot of them were in Wisconsin and then in St. Louis.
Oh, I think that the Leinenkugels and the Paps and the Millers.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these guys probably had German heritage for sure. Yeah. So now we're back.
Schlitz.
Oh, see, so that's another one, Schlitz.
So I guess now I'm questioning is
Why
K October, is that an American
Oh,
kitschiness?
I had noticed because I've actually never had this beer. So
Never?
No.
Never, never?
I've never. So I'm like, well, why is it spelled Oktoberfest like the month and not Oktoberfest with a K like the beer?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, this one I felt like, well, one, I was at New Glarus, which we'll talk to in a few minutes, but I felt like it was a good one to add to this lineup we could have.
As it's not too bad. Let me tell you.
And it's going to be probably the only one in a bottle.
Yeah, they are super old school. Dan, the husband and wife, Dan Carey, and his wife, his name escapes me, but she does all the artwork, and then he's, of course, the master brewer.
Okay.
Yeah, and
All the artwork, what's all made? They're not like doing new stuff.
no, that's all the ones that are done. She did them all.
She did them. So
did
she's
'em.
not doing the artwork.
Are they updating? No, and they come out with a new beer. Or no, but for example, strawberry rhubarb is in cans.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the same level from when it was in bottles.
No. And there's Watermelon Splash.
Which that sounds very nice.
That's new.
So
Okay. So I guess there's new stuff.
Okay. Deb Carey.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like it was a good one to add to the lineup just because we've mainly focused on Illinois and Chicago beers here, but this is like, I don't know, a staple in Wisconsin for
Yeah.
Oktoberfest. So why shouldn't we be drinking it and checking it out and seeing how it compares to some of the ones we're going to have?
Yeah, long ago when I was doing those bus tours, the brew bus tours, I had a guy from Wisconsin tell me that 2% of all the beer sold in Wisconsin is New Glarus beer, and they're the only brewery in the country that's doing 200,000 barrels all in one state. Mm-hmm. And I was always impressed with. I think they distributed beers out of state for a little bit.
Yeah.
But they ran into some typical bullshit. Pay to play.
Pay to play, and I don't think they could keep up with the a Surly problem. When Surly was in Chicago, then they had to pull back, and then once they got capacity back up, they could roll it back out.
Yeah. So New Glarus is Wisconsin only, which I'm actually on board with that. If it was here all the time, it wouldn't be as fun when you drink it.
Yeah, I would never drink it.
I mean, it's weird, right? Like we kind of you have to go to Wisconsin to get it is part of the joy.
Right. Are you going to the store and getting lakefront beers?
See, exactly.
So
Yeah.
well, yeah, we just wouldn't drink it. But when you go there and you're like, "Ooh, Moon Man, yes, please."
Yeah, all day. Matter of fact, might get 12 of them.
So yeah, that was one of my stops. Oh, but this beer, it's I think similar to the Old Irving we had on the last episode. That just it gets out of the way. There's not a lot of taste or I don't want to say taste. A lot of I don't know.
It's like I know what you mean. It's because in general, right? It's a malty lager. It's a copper lager, right? So some breweries, it's very malt forward, almost to the point where it's grainy,
Right, and filling.
or very filling, right? Like very very heavy, very dense. This kind of is like a beer flavored beer, and then there's like a hint of that big malt explosion at the end, where it's like a little, it's like a splash of it, but it doesn't overtake every sip.
Yeah, and this one doesn't feel bready and just kind of like that you're full afterwards. It's almost just like a light lager that has a copper color.
Bready is the term I was looking for. Yeah, like a dense breadiness. Some of them have that a little too much. In fact, sometimes you get the breadiness and it outweighs the carbonation. And now you're just like, well, what the fuck are we doing? Like, this is kind of this is a little too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one's just right.
But yeah, I went up there this past weekend. Some families was in town, and they wanted to visit niece that's going to school in Madison. So
Yeah.
gave us kind of excuse to stop at New Glarus.
I mean, fuck, I haven't been to New Glarus in years.
Right.
That sounds fun, man. When's the last time you've been to New Glarus?
Yeah, a really long time.
Really long time, yeah. It's usually a pilgrimage if you're going to Great Taste.
Okay.
Because then they usually have a special release that weekend, like a sour release.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
But it was a great weekend for it. Super nice, just hanging out outside. It's funny to think like it's basically these fake ruins.
Right. It's like a hilltop brewery that's kind of distressed intentionally. Right. Yeah.
But then like it makes you wonder, come 100 or 200 years, someone's going to find this and be like, oh, what was this structure that was here? But this was all fake to begin with.
I've been to a place like that in Denver once. And I'm like, oh, look at this. Everything looks, kind of like downtown, the barbecue joint, Green City Smoke Meats.
Okay.
When you go there, everything looks like, oh, wow, how long has this honky tonk barbecue joint been here? But it was like that from day one. It just looks distressed from day one.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny, but it's a great place to hang out. The dudes were playing the Alpine horns out there.
The big long ass
Yeah.
horn? Oh, man. Okay.
They had that going. Yeah, we just had a couple beers. We only had, I think, like maybe 2 hours before they closed, kind of thing. So had a couple beers there. Had a Moon Man, had Oktoberfest. May have got that watermelon splash. They call it a malt beverage, but it's 4%.
Oh, so it's seltzer, right?
I think probably, yeah,
Okay.
with watermelon
Well,
flavors.
Goose had like a fruited sour thing that we tried, right? I can't think of the name of it, but I remember I can picture the packaging.
Berry.
Something with
Boss
berries.
berry?
Yeah, something with berries.
Yeah.
How did that compare to the Boss Berry? Like these new fruit flavored things from big old
The
breweries.
Goose one is too sweet.
Okay.
The other one tasted more like a seltzer.
Okay.
So yeah, a little more water, less filling.
Yeah, like a straight up seltzer.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the other one's like a sour beer.
Yeah, like a kettle sour
Yeah.
beer.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a great little stop up there. So
What else did you drink up there, man?
we did get our token, and you get your token when you buy a beer to have a drink in town.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And
yeah.
so then we went in town to the Glarus Stube.
Okay.
And I think that's where maybe I just got, because the sample you get, I think I got Spotted Cow then, just because. Why not get Spotted Cow? I don't really like Spotted Cow.
Do you know, on podcasts he's described, I always thought it was a farmhouse. He describes it as a farmhouse ale. I always thought it was a cream ale. But he gets on the pod, and somebody's pod, and describes it as a farmhouse ale.
Yeah, I just don't. It's a good beer, but I just don't care for it
Okay.
at this point anymore.
Yeah.
And some two women had that.
That's a lager. They do weird cheese curds up there, right? Like if you go to some of these local, you get the token, you go into town and have a beer. I ordered cheese curds once, and it was a paper plate with like raw cheese curds and just some hot olive oil over it.
That's there's a kind like that.
And I was like, this must be a local delicacy here because this shit is very weird to me. I was expecting just OG
fried
cheese curds, but
you were expecting fried cheese curds.
Yes,
because those are cheese curds. But
that's for me. Yes.
We often see fried cheese curds, even though they say just cheese curds on the menu.
Yeah, so I got when I let my last trip to New Glarus, that's what I got for cheese curds.
Okay.
And I'm like, am I the only one that thinks this is super weird? I felt weird.
You're just getting a pile of cheese.
You're getting a pile of cheese with a splash of oil.
Right. I want the mozzarella sticks. And then we did learn about a Wisconsin old fashioned is its own thing. If you order old fashioned in Wisconsin, you're not getting an old fashioned.
So you're getting it's like a brandy old fashioned.
Right.
Yeah.
And they use they use something else in there, or then they have a sour version that they do.
I know they like brandy in their old fashions.
It's a brandy. I think it has squirt in it too.
You know, squirt and tequila is kind of like it's something I've had a dance or two with more than I care.
The bartender was telling us this. I was like, okay. At the same time, I'm like, why are you screwing with the old fashioned? Call it something else.
No, that's their thing. That's always been their thing.
Right.
Like, give me the old fashioned, and you go up there, and it's like heavy handed, and it tastes different, and it's got brandy in it. Because I mean, you notice the brandy, because like you never order a drink that's got brandy.
Right.
No one goes and says, I have a brandy Alexander. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I think it says eggnog. Eggnog has brandy in it.
Oh, yeah. Like, and even like, what are even the good brandies? When I think brandy, I think like Parmesan. When I was, in like a late teens.
Because someone in Wisconsin had too much brandy, and they're like, I guess.
Yeah. Because I think, if I got it right, I think brandy is a distilled fruit.
Okay, yeah.
Where cognac is distilled grapes, but brandy can be distilled from other fruits. There can be peach brandy and apricot brandy. I think I remember that being a thing.
Okay.
And then that's all I got.
I was just like,
that's all I got on brandy.
This was a good reminder to never get a old fashioned in Wisconsin.
That's funny. Oh, so you weren't even in on it, like when you got it.
We got one pressed, which was
pressed.
Instead they have the sour version and they have their other version. And
Okay.
so the pressed is so a little sour.
Oh. Yeah. You're out. You're out. You're out on the old fashioned Wisconsin old fashioned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do this?
I can't vouch for it. I don't even know what they taste like. I just know that that's a thing they do. I can't tell you.
It tastes like sadness.
That's too bad, man. Because I'm expecting it to rock. Because when I think Wisconsin, I think they don't have the big honking international city, right? They just have a bunch of really cool little towns. I think fish fries, beers that I can't get home, cheese, brandy old fashions, and supper clubs.
Sure.
I think this is all I think about up there. So when I think of old brandy old fashions, I'm expecting somebody to just like fucking nail this thing,
But the old fashioned is delicious.
Just the one that we all know.
Yeah, the standard old fashioned. We all know.
Yeah.
And even like, I appreciate the old fashions that use like maple syrup in them. Like that's the same base, but you put a little twist on it. You made a new cocktail and decided to call it old fashioned also. Like,
it's right up there with the Evening Cold, Sean.
Yeah, you tricked me, Wisconsin.
This is a dirty trick, Wisconsin. Yeah.
But New Glarus is always a good time to visit. It's just it's a drive. Like you're not
from the northwest side to New Glarus.
Yeah.
What are we talking? 2 hours?
A little over 2 hours, like 2.5.
Okay.
Which I guess, but doesn't seem crazy when you could go out to Naperville and it's like that's at least an hour.
For
sometimes.
sure.
So,
dude, I was in downtown Chicago today and it took me 49 minutes to get home.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But there's not a straight way to get to New Glarus. You're on some back roads for a while. Like 2-lane, basically, country double G's.
Like if it were dark, it would be like pitch black dark. There's no street lights.
Right.
It's that kind of
And if you have to pee, you got to hope there's a gas station that's open kind of thing. But yeah, good time. then we also on Saturday, I think we did Half Acre's Lagertown Oktoberfest.
Right on. And actually, that's what we're drinking out of right now.
Yeah, no bottles, no cans of Lagertown. I didn't leave there with Lagertown.
That's a strange decision.
Yeah, that was strange of mine.
So you can drink it there, but you can't have it to go?
I think you could get cans. I just didn't. I took my mug and left. I picked up some other, one of their other IPAs and went to a friend's house, so I left them there. So maybe if I knew I was coming home, I would have got Lagertown. But
yeah, I thought you meant that you just like couldn't get.
You're not allowed to.
Right.
No.
Okay.
And then so at Half Acres Oktoberfest, I put on my lederhosen and went out.
You got a nice little lederhosen set up. I'm glad you whip it out annually. You know, that reminds me of if you ever go to Great Taste, you're talking about the Glarus, that's what Dan Carey wears. If you go to Great Taste every year, he wears the same lederhosen.
Nice.
Yeah. And side note, it's the only time I ever saw John Lafleur fanboy was around Dan Carey.
Oh.
Because, you know, Lafleur is kind of a strange bird. You know, I've seen him do, we were at Dark Lord Day back when the pub was open.
Okay.
At Floyd's, and someone would pull out a bottle, just a random bottle, not even an off-color bottle or a Goose bottle or anything, and Lafleur would just sign people's bottles. You know, it was kind of a weird thing. Oh, but when he got around Dan Carey, I have a photo of John Lafleur who asked me to take a picture of him and Dan Carey.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. It's fun to see where his head is as far as like people that he really, really fans out about.
Interesting.
So that was just a fun moment. That's all. Just a side note about the New Glarus thing.
But yeah, I was rocking my lederhosen. It was, you got your Stein, and then you got a pour of Lagertown, and then a discount on refills of anything, so you could get anything in your.
In your Lagertown mug.
Yeah.
And I gotta be honest with you, Brad. This is a handsome mug. When I saw the photo, I was like, man, that's a good looking mug.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's got this beautiful etching on the bottom. It's just kind of clean and classic, and the crest just sits right. It's just very picturesque. It's a nice ass mug. I got some mugs at home that don't look as good as this. That's how I'm like. Really kind of like this.
Sure, but I do like the dimple mugs.
You do?
I don't know. There's something more traditional about them.
Yeah. And then they're functional. I think you're supposed to, like, with the dimple, every sip is supposed to go past one of the dimples.
Oh.
I think so. Yeah.
No dimples here.
At least that's what the internet said.
Okay. And then at Oktoberfest at Half Acre, I did Stein holding contest.
Oh, shit.
You know, they just did it with the half liters here.
Yeah.
So they didn't give you a full liter to hold. Third place.
Fucking A.
While I was drinking, because Maeve would come up and give me pours of hers, and I'm out there, arm out.
Wait, the arm is out and you're taking sips?
Taking sips.
You know.
Not of mine, of Maeve's.
Oh, man.
Oops. So I was rocking that third place.
Because you had to represent because you were in full regalia.
I know.
You know, full garb.
I maybe could have gotten second, but I was not winning. That guy.
He was just.
He was locked.
He was on and out. That sounds fun, man. That sounds like a fun fucking time. Man.
Yeah. So they had
every time I go to, is this outside?
Yeah, it was outside.
Every time I go outside, it's just a bunch of fucking dogs.
No.
And children.
All people. Band playing, rock band, not playing the game Rock Band, but a rock band, not like a German band. So, they didn't go full German out there, but they had brats going.
Yeah.
And it was a good time.
Dude. Be nice if these fucking guys would host the Big North again. That'd be fucking nice.
That would be nice.
I mean, what the fuck?
I think it's gonna happen.
Clearly, it's about to be October. I mean, but it just the one time where we did the one thing where we started at Oak Park and then we went to
Big North, yeah.
It was a pretty epic day.
Right.
So it just reminded me of that.
But those were my two stops. But you had an Oktoberfest stop, right?
I did. I had been driving for an hour on my way back to Riders Park, and I'm like, dude, let me stop at Alarmist. Brad mentioned that they were doing Oktoberfest. So I'm like, yo, I haven't been on Alarmist in a while. Let me go see what's going on with Oktoberfest. So I get in there, and it's like a Sunday afternoon. And I'm like, yeah, man, I need the Oktoberfest. And I saw him pouring 2 Oktoberfest and just your standard, pint glasses. And I'm like, no. I'm here for the Stein.
Okay.
He's like, oh, you want the Stein? I'm like, yeah, I want the Stein. So then I got 2 Steins and a bunch of stickers. And, the beer garden was open.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I'm like, well, shit, I'm about to go sit out here in this beer garden. Now, I think last summer, I think we went and there were some conversations about the neighbors and like you can only have the beer garden during certain times of the year.
Right.
And all that shit's out the window because I went out there and the beer garden's alive
Yeah,
and well.
I think they figured that out. I know it was probably around this time last year that we went because we went to Temperance on, I think it was a Friday, and then we went to Alarmist.
Yeah.
Then we might have went to somewhere else. To Goose? Went to Goose then.
Gladward?
For 312 Day.
Oh, shit. That was our 312 day round?
Last year.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I remember photos. I'm glad we take photos because I can picture us taking photos at Sketchbook and Alarmist because Gary was
we
there.
went to Temperance.
I'm sorry. I confused Sketchbook and Temperance. Mm-hmm. We took photos at Temperance and...
We're disappointed no Steins.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? What? The older I get, the littlest things really fucking annoy me. I mean, come on. We not doing Steins on fucking Oktoberfest? What the fuck?
I remember, didn't they have Stein? Oh,
some people have Steins, right?
they didn't have enough Steins or something like that, right?
Yeah, because people had Steins, and they were dimpled and they looked good. No, they were braided.
Oh,
you remember that?
Right.
They were braided.
I'd have to go back and listen to the episode where we complained about this last time.
They were braided. The temperance Steins were nice, and they were braided, and they were 0.5 liter. No dimples. They looked really good.
Yeah.
But by the time we got there, we didn't get one. But anywho, sorry.
So that was last year, and the Oktoberfest from Alarmist, I think it's called the Worst October or something.
October Worst.
October Worst.
Yeah, we're the worst. And then it says, so it's October Worst, and there's a picture of a fork and a sausage, and it says we're the worst. Yeah.
I think we got cans, and I think it's okay, right? How was it this year?
On draft, I was thinking about this because we're sitting on these big Adirondack chairs. We're on the deck. I'm sorry, we're on the beer garden, and I'm like, is this beer good in context of what I've been doing all day? And this is my first beer of the day, and it's delicious, and I'm outside, and this is my element, 75 degrees, and a big ass, leaning back chair.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it good because of those things?
Or is it good? Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I would have to say that it was very delicious on draft. That would be my vote.
Okay, so I guess we gotta pick some of those cans up and revisit that one too for our lineup here.
I did enjoy it on draft. Yeah.
Okay.
Like we said earlier, I just like the ones you don't have to think about, the ones that don't come off with too much of the concentrated bread sweetness, that have enough carbonation in them to just enjoy every sip. I mean, just regular, Oktoberfest shit, and I felt like it hit those marks.
Nice. Okay. Any other stops or anything else you hit up?
That was my only stop. Much in the way of Solemn Oaths, Still Life, where the people find their tribe, right? Like people with small children go to Still Life, and people with dogs go to Still Life. I think Alarmist is finding their tribe. Like I go there on a Sunday, and there's like a kid's birthday party in the front, and then you go in the back. And then there's like the long tables and, just kind of children chilling everywhere.
Okay.
So I kind of feel like they found their niche. I mean, people who have small children all know, hey, I'm going to go here and drink.
Sure, yeah.
And sit outside. So, I mean, good for them because it's good. It's good to see a lot of people in the place. And then you kind of see that, everyone's brought their kid because this is where everyone with kids goes.
Yeah, I think, Maeve and I have had talks about like people are these breweries with a lot of kids and stuff. I know people like it or dislike it, but I think the idea is people want to meet up with their friends.
Yeah.
They have these kids. No one wants to go to each other's houses because they're a mess, right?
Because the kids have a bunch of little kids shit everywhere.
Yeah, and so you're like, I don't have to clean this house up for you to come over just for your other kid to also mess up the house with my kid so we can drink. Let's just go somewhere. They can mess up this place or not mess it up because they don't have anything to mess it up.
Or there's this beer garden that can just
run
go
around.
crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Sketchbook where those kids can just run in that fenced-in area every time a train comes by.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool for them. And, it's cool for people that find their tribe.
Yeah. So only stop. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, got the Stein. Doesn't look as good as this Half Acre Stein, but it's a cool Stein. I think the Steins are good for flowers. Right on your kitchen table.
Sure.
Looks good.
All right. I did see the Steins. I think this episode will come out after the Oktoberfest that's happening at Old Irving, which we were drinking their Oktoberfest last week.
Yeah.
But they have their Stein and 8th anniversary happening.
Sure.
So, and their Stein looks nice. Different. It's white, like a ceramic looking one.
Dude, I'm all in on the ceramic Stein. I was saying that the only ceramic Stein I saw last year was Hailstorms.
Okay.
And Hailstorm Stein looked really good, but this OIB Stein with the fucking seal on it looks even better. So
I'm tempted to go, but I've already drank their Oktoberfest.
yeah, and then how many Steins do you need?
How many Steins? Yeah,
It's a good looking Stein though, but
how many Steins do I need?
how many Steins do you need? You know?
0.
Yeah,
If you
that's-
ask some people who live in this house.
That would be the answer. Well, why do you need more cups? What the fuck?
What about anything else? Anything else happening? Anything else we should mention?
Yeah, we were talking about the most underrated party in all of Chicago, 312 Block Party.
Oh, 312 Blog Party.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous party. We take Goose for granted because they're Goose and they have a lot of misses. They relabel Matilda and Sophie to these weird fonts and this bullshit. They come out with a bunch of weird beers all year that don't really connect. And then they focus on this bear series, right? Hugs. They focus on the hugs.
That people love.
People are drinking this beer. I think it's probably after BCS. I think the hugs are the beer they sell the most.
But so anyone can make that.
You talking about because it's like a double IPA or whatever?
No one cares that it's Goose Island.
Oh yeah.
No one's drinking beer hugs because it's Goose Island.
I think much in the way that like the New Belgium is the first one we saw like this, where it's just like a 9% heater in like a tallboy can, and you can get different versions of it, and it's readily available in like your 7-Eleven.
Right. Or I think if you even go back farther with New Belgium, Fat Tire lived on its own. No one even knew for probably a long time. I didn't realize New Belgium was the brewery that made Fat Tire.
It's funny you say that because I watch a lot of YouTube, and there's a YouTube ad with Fat Tire doing a collab with Vans, and if you're not paying attention, you don't understand that Fat Tire is a New Belgium brand. You just think Fat Tire is a brewery.
Right. So
Yeah.
beer hugs is
It's kind of like that.
its own thing. Goose Island, Anheuser-Busch, it doesn't matter. It's beer hugs. It can be its own thing.
And one thing they always nailed as a brewery are activations, events, and I think their flagship event is 312 Block Party. It's not on 312 Day, which can be confusing for some people, but people who go to this thing understand that it's 312 Block Party, and it's not the 312 release day.
Yeah. I know we're going to talk about 312 Day, but on the beer hugs thing, do you think the simple name makes it so easy, and that's why people will often order it? Like, it's not like, oh, I'll take the Goose Island beer hugs. They can just say beer hugs.
You just say beer hugs.
Hazy hug.
Yeah.
Or hazy bear, or whatever it's
tropical hugs. That's probably one of them.
And it's like, they're not even words you have to think about. That one's tropical. That one's hazy. This one's the IPA or whatever. It makes me feel good because it's a bear hug.
They're doing a good.
And so it's like tricking everyone's brain into being like, I don't need to know this is Old Irving's Oktoberfest.
Right. And this is something they've been thinking about for a while, because you go to Goose Island 3 years ago and, at Fulton, and they would have like 6, 7, 8 IPAs on draft, and they were just kind of piloting all these IPAs. Yeah. The only beer that I see on billboards is beer hugs for them. And then the bear with the shades on is, you know, kind of like the
Joe
low.
Camel?
That's
their Joe Camel.
I mean, right? It's their mascot. It's their mascot. Like, you and I have a crazy photo of this giant 7-foot bear with some fucking Wayfarers on, and he pops up at every event. I mean, it's smart. They're doing what they're 35 or something years old. They're doing what they can to stay alive. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, especially when half the people who order a 312 don't know how to say that. So
they're like, well, what can we do? I would rather them spend their time on just making Too Much Bourbon County and making bear hugs than to make
Raspberry 312.
or they're starting to figure out like, hey, this is what we do well. Goose as a brewery, after the Sisters and after BCS, the nerds in like your Beer Advocate, or Rate Beer or Untapped, after the Sisters and after Bourbon County, no one's really checking for anything that Goose is doing.
Right.
And like there's a huge drop off. Like the Sisters and Bourbon County live up here, and then there's a drop, and then everything else lives down here. So for their first real hit in years has been this fucking Beer Hugs thing.
Yeah, it kind of lives a little above the mid grade of stuff.
Yeah, I think Sophie and Matilda will always have a place in my heart. But we were saying in the pre-show, they keep rebranding them, not rebranding them. Yeah, they're rebranding them with the labels. And it's confusing. It's confusing for me. Like I see Matilda and it's purple and it's got these weird font, and I'm just like, I don't even want fucking Matilda, and I love Matilda.
Right. But then I think it was last year or the year before, I was like, I drank probably more 312 than I did any other beer, and 312 at this point is almost our Miller Lite or Bud Light.
It's much in the way that not Spotted. Yeah, Spotted Cow is like the Budweiser. In craft circles in Wisconsin, 312 is like that for us. 312 is kind of our Budweiser.
I was gonna get 312.
Yeah, when I order 312, it's kind of like people who order Budweiser or Bud Light.
Right.
Yeah, that's my Budweiser. Give me the 3. I'll take a 312. If I'm at the suite at the United Center, I'm doing a shot of fucking Bullet, and I'm doing a 312. Off we go. Let's fucking get it.
There you
go. We were talking about 312 Block Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is the most underrated party in Chicago. It's 2 days, or is it just a 1 day? I feel like it's multiple days. There's no cost to get in.
I think it's Friday and Saturday.
So it's a weekend party, no cost to get in. They shut off the streets around the brewery. They have all their friends come out. There's eats, there's installations, there's the most ridiculous library of beers in town belongs to Goose Island. All those beers are available for purchase. You get this super fast moving fucking Bourbon County express ordering inside.
The same price. I think everything's $5.
See, all these things are a win, right? So
they're like, we don't need to make any money off this.
Let's just say thank you to the people who support us that live here.
Yeah.
But it sounds like this year, instead of 312 Block Party, they're doing an Oktoberfest at their Salt Shed Brew Pub.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's disappointing because that's like tiny.
And then the parking thing over there is a little weird. It's not a block party.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but what if there's nothing going on at Salt Shed that day and it's like a full on invasion of
inside there.
The fairgrounds is what they call it.
Okay.
What if it's the 2,000 person fairgrounds? Now we're talking an actual party.
Because I didn't mention this, but I was over there over the weekend too. Mm-hmm. And a show was playing. The little drive up area into where you would go to the brew pub, metal detectors.
Oh.
To get into the show.
Right.
And you could just walk around them if you're just going to Goose Island. But it made it kind of weird to go over there. If there's a show happening, it's weird.
Well, the Salt Shed is a venue where I think 3,000, and it's a music venue with an amphitheater. So 3,000 inside, but if some concerts are outside, and if it's an outside concert, you can fit 5,000. And then Goose Island has this brew pub that sits right in the middle of all this chaos.
Yeah.
And it all sits on Chicago River. It's actually a pretty cool scene. Oh, but the parking's fucked up because the parking's not owned by Salt Shed or by Goose. So regardless of if you're going to a show or if you're just hanging out and there is no show, it costs you $4 to park in this giant parking lot across the street. Or you go find street parking in the area.
Right, we were there early enough. Street parking, no problem.
Yeah, the few times I've been, I've found street parking. So
I don't understand why that's not metered yet. Somebody.
Oh well, I'll take it.
Someone has fucked up in the not putting meters there.
Because there's some residential, some of it's residential, with the sign that says if you don't have a sticker you can't park here.
Oh really?
But a lot of it. Well, because Salt Shed sits right next to this other empty lot that kind of acts as a Halloween pop-up and a Christmas pop-up.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's why there's no metering yet. But, yeah. I'd like to know more details about the Oktoberfest, because will the Oktoberfest give us the things we love about Block Party?
Right. And maybe they'll have bands and stuff, so maybe it's the same thing.
Maybe it's a straight up fest.
But they're not. They don't want to call it 312 Day because it's not 312 Day anymore. Yeah. But you got to do it, man. You got like 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You can't do an Oktoberfest party in October. That's against beer rules.
The actual Oktoberfest is happening in Munich. The actual Oktoberfest is happening like next week.
Yeah.
Right. It's the end of September.
You could continue, and we will probably drink Oktoberfest into October, but you're not allowed to party for Oktoberfest.
I'm trying to look it up and see what Goose is saying, but I feel like this party should be at the end of September.
Which I think that weekend I'm going out to the Riverlands Oktoberfest party on September 28th, because theirs happening all weekend. German band, German music.
Oh, Saturday, September 21st.
Oh, so the weekend before. So
yeah.
This weekend. Yeah. In 2 days.
Tap the link in the bio for more information on our Oktoberfest celebration. You know what, Goose? Fine, I'll tap the link in your bio. It takes us to the same fucking thing. What the fuck, bro?
Here we go. We were speculating, and we could have just used our magical pocket device.
Goose Island Oktoberfest. September 21st at 3 p.m. So it is happening September 21st.
That's this weekend. Yeah. This episode will be posted probably after that.
Okay. Yeah, 3 p.m. Oktoberfest it's at the pub. Oktoberfest at the pub.
That's at Salt Shed Pub.
Yeah.
So it's really no bands, no event.
No, it's just an Oktoberfest.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which, being there this past weekend, they didn't even have Oktoberfest on.
That's funny.
So, or I didn't notice it. I would have got it if I would have saw it. I think I got a coffee pale ale. That was fine. It was fine.
I had a coffee pale ale. It was fine. It feels like a Schwarzbier, right? It's like a cream. It looks like a lager, but it tastes like a dark beer. But it's
yeah. I just had a sample but there was no like coffee.
Well, yeah, that's no good, especially for them since their friends are Intelligentsia. Intelligence is next door. That's the story they tell, and they've made some pretty good coffee beers over the years.
Right.
So that's too bad.
Okay. Well, we got to the bottom of that, but everyone's gonna miss that because no 312 block party day. I bet I think I said last year I was like go to 312 day because this could be your last time to go.
And our guy Kensington Honey Sugar, he didn't get pissed, but he was just like, why would you say that?
Yeah,
he did. Right. He's like, why would you say that? I'm like, because man, times are changing. The category of beer is shrinking. Like, it's not a diss.
But mine was more like, you gotta seize the day.
Yes.
Not that I think it's over, but you gotta seize because this could be even like something could happen to you, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Seize that moment.
Right. I mean,
wasn't like being
life is precious.
Yeah. That was and look at this. I was right.
I mean, they're not doing it this year. What the fuck, man? They're not doing block party. They're doing October. Let me calm down, man. Because I just feel so strongly about that party being fucking killer. Yeah. It's a killer fucking party, man. Well, in the weather is just right, 80s and then 60s. Come on, and then you're closing out the summer and acting a fool in the middle of the street off Bourbon County. Come on, man. There's nothing better than that.
I think it was slightly confusing that it's 312 block party in September. Mm-hmm. They should do it on 312 day, but that's basically St. Patrick's Day, so it's the chances of doing it outside are slim.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cold.
But you're basically then having a St. Patrick's Day party.
Yeah. All right, you got to get people to the Salt Shed. Fine. You got to get.
You don't have to get people there.
You do, because I've been to. Where did I go? I saw Thundercat. It was Thundercat and some other fuckers, and Bad Bad Not Good. It was actually a pretty good show. So I closed out at Salt Shed, but
at the pub.
The pub. Perfect weather day. I'm there. Let's say 20 minutes before the main act ends, and there's nobody in this pub. And this is a full sold out concert.
Well, they're at the show.
Right, but then I'm there when the show lets out.
Yeah, no.
And no one's coming in.
Yeah, everyone's done.
No one's coming in. Everybody's going home.
Right.
So you got to. That's my point. You got to get people to the shit.
No one. Goose Island was going to close multiple times. No one wanted to go to this place. Being next to the place where everyone's at, you're just lucky that you're there.
I think you're more likely to get, and this is a
People
small,
go before.
It's a small sample size, but yeah, that's the point I'm making. You're more likely to get people that are happy hour and pre-gaming for a show than you are for people to go post-game.
Oh yeah.
But also at the end of the day, I think they're probably selling 4 times the amount of beer at Salt Shed than they would have been if they just stayed at Clockwork.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just making a small observation. I'm also very pissed that we're not doing block party. But I saw before we go, man. I saw this VinePair article.
Okay.
We asked 11 brewers what are the most underrated breweries in the Midwest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So do you want to hear the list?
Yeah, let's hear it.
And just tell me
This is the collected list of.
I don't think no particular order.
Okay.
Yeah. Transient Artisan Ales.
Oh, that's good though. Out in southern Illinois, right?
It's transient. Yeah, but I don't know where they are because they're transient, right? I think they're just like a gypsy, right?
Oh, I thought
You
that-
might be thinking.
Oh,
You're thinking of triptych.
triptych.
You're thinking of the triptych.
Triptych. Oh.
All right. Transient Greenbush. That's Sawyer, Michigan.
I don't think that's underrated. Everyone loves Greenbush.
You can get Greenbush at Kuma's.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Livery. I've never heard of the Livery.
No.
Woolly Pig Farm Brewing.
Okay, don't know that.
Urban Artifacts Brewing.
Why do I know that?
I don't. I'm out of the loop here. Lost Cabin Beer.
I don't know that.
Seeds Brewing. Now I've had Seeds at Fobab, and then shout out to the brewers because I think it was either the guys at the guys down in Tinley Park at Flipside, or it was the guys at out in Plainfield Workforce.
Okay.
But I was walking around Fobab with one of them, and we had Seeds Brewing.
Okay.
And I was like, man, it's pretty tasty. It was like all kind of okay sour stuff. So I do remember Seeds. Supermoon. Supermoon's up in Milwaukee.
Okay.
So it's a guy who used to work at Penrose, but he went to University of Milwaukee, and so did his wife. So he left Penrose to go start Supermoon. So Supermoon's in it's on a residential block, and it's farmhouse sales on a residential block in Milwaukee.
Interesting.
Supermoon's pretty good. Central Standard Brewing.
I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Riggs Beer Company. I think Riggs is down in Champaign.
I have heard of that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Warped Wing Brewing.
No.
Hammer Heart Brewing. I have heard of Hammer Heart Brewing because I think all they make is smoked beers.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Roaring Table.
Okay.
Now, I'm in on Roaring Table being underrated.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Yeah. But that was it. And then if you go to VinePair, and VinePair sounds like a wine publication, and they're like New York based. But there is I think they have quotes from other brewers on why these places are special to people.
Okay.
So that's why I brought it up.
Interesting. I know we've said like Sketchbook and Hopewell are some underrated, but there's a lot of Roaring Tables. Yeah, probably there.
Yeah. But a Roaring Table for us is in
I think Two Hounds Red. Or
Lake Zurich that's where Roaring Table is, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two Hounds Red. Two Hounds.
Yeah, Two Hound Red. Where's that in Glen Ellen?
Right. That's pretty underrated. He's making good beers there.
But in city proper, it would be Hopewell, for sure.
Yeah. Hopewell's one of those places where I even go by it quite often, and I'm like, oh yeah, I should go there. Yeah. It's always good. And
I would say Bishi's creeping up as far as underrated.
Whoa,
now.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, in city proper, who else would you call underrated? I mean, I like Weiner a lot. I like Weiner a lot. It's even if I'm at a science game, it's hard to get to 45th and wherever the fuck. It's like 45th and I don't know, Michigan or some shit.
Yeah.
It's just not an easy place to get to. It's weird because Chicago's not a big city, but I mean, as far as like square footage goes, square mileage.
Right.
Chicago's not a very big city, but it's really hard to get to places.
Right. His was probably
I do like his
falls
was.
under there.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Fair.
But it's new-ish. Newish.
There's definitely new as far as being able to go to their space. And yeah, they were contract brewing out of Beguile, but then you couldn't really get their stuff on draft at Beguile.
Right.
You could buy bottles at Beguile, but yeah, so it's kind of hard. They were hard to reach. Yeah. But no, that was a fun article. So.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to look out for some of those at Fobab. Tickets are for sale now.
Oh yeah, Fobab is November 22nd this year, which is a little different from years past. It's usually the first or second weekend in November. Now it's the third weekend in November, and I think Fobab added a fan favorite award, so all the categories that they have will still exist, and then there's an additional one where you get to vote, and it cuts off at Saturday morning or maybe Friday night. And then they tally the votes, and then whoever the fan favorite is, they get to walk on stage and get an award.
Interesting.
I like that. Keep things current. Just like your video games that come out every year, and the video game's different this year from last year. So I like this.
Yeah.
Keep it
You gotta
moving.
do something different.
Yeah.
So. All right. Then that's gonna do it for this episode. We got a few more of these new Glarus Oktoberfests that we'll save for the lineup.
Yeah.
And we'll be back soon. Take care.
Cheers.